That heifer right there just don't even care.
Take yourself out.
Action. What do you say, folks? Everybody's having a blessed Sunday evening, or Sunday as well. But we've got a pretty good one.
Oh, producing still unlike us. He said it got up to 97 today.
That's what it is right now, as far as heat index here.
Mm-hmm. Almost 100.
So y'all are welcome. Y'all are welcome. We didn't mind sharing the heat wave and sending things up there to y'all in the North Country.
Mm-hmm.
Because y'all were so kind every winter to send things down here during the cold weather.
Yeah.
So you're welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the South.
Fun times.
Mm-hmm. I was looking at some of the comments before we got started. Most everybody is saying the same thing. Hey, and it's hot.
Yeah.
Or I'm burning up one way or another.
Our poor little air conditioner can't keep up.
No.
But it's just been running non-stop.
That thing's out there choking right now trying to keep up. Good grief. Yeah.
Yeah. And now is the time of year that we start looking forward to December and our first breath of cool air.
Yeah, because it'll be 75 in December, so get them nice cool temperatures rolling on in.
Yeah.
That set us up just right for 2 months down the road for summertime again. But I will say, yes, it has been a bit warm outside, but thankfully, right now, as far as us down here along the Gulf, not the ocean, it has been, we haven't gotten into that where as soon as you step outside, you're pouring with sweat, literally, by the time you get to the truck. The mornings have been not so humid. It's warm, don't get us wrong, but we haven't got to that portion yet, even though we're officially in dog days. So
August is usually the worst.
it is.
You can make it through August, you'll make it to the end of the year.
We just prime it.
God, we won't be doing roof work in August.
Mm-mm. No. I know we've been fussing. Well, every weekend for the last 4 or 5 weekends, we've been outside, and we're just now about to wrap this thing up, what we've been working on. But we are on the putting shingles on the roof portion. So just Hannah, myself, and the gentleman we're working for said, look, man, call somebody to help get shingles up on that roof.
Because that shingles weigh almost as much as I do, so I can't help him carry him up a ladder. I can help him on the roof, but
So
no. But yeah, my toenail polish melted to my socks again last week. It's so hot on those black shingles. Yes, I concur, DC. Roofing sucks this time of year.
oh yeah, Lord. We've been getting a whole bunch of rain down here, and we got about 8 or 10 squares we're putting on this little old lean-to that we're building, if you will. Well, gable roof that we built. But
Stop.
the rain. It has been raining almost every single day after lunchtime for the last week and some change. There's a couple days we ain't even been able to go to work because rain. So any of y'all been out there in the construction or you just had to fool with shingle period, from time to time when them bundles get left out in the weather, that they will collect water inside that plastic. Well, we got a young buck. Called him up and said, "Hey, look, all I want you to do is haul shingles from that pallet up this roof, hand them to me, and you go back down and get in front of the fan." Well, y'all, when this poor young buck, he's what, 21, 22. I felt bad for him either way. He picked them bundles up, and that water would come pouring out of one end of that bundle of shingles. And y'all, about 11:30, 12 o'clock, that bundle is well beyond hot.
Yeah.
And that water coming out of that bundle of shingles is sure enough hot itself. So,
Yeah.
But we bit the bullet. We're going to burn up 2 days and have that young fella help us. And Lord willing, tomorrow we'll have that puppy finished up. And we can start kind of getting on some inside work until about September, Lord willing. But I've been watching the weather, man, and yeah, I noticed where like DC, y'all out there on that west coast, things have kind of transitioned over to the other side over there, and y'all getting a good heat wave. I think who was it? Todd was in here talking about 113 or something out there in California.
The only benefit with Todd is he doesn't have the humidity near as bad. The DC does. It's done because they say it's so wet out there.
I think their humidity is about like ours, clean. I was 70s and 80s probably out there, I imagine. Which, like I say, thankfully we ain't got to the 100% range yet. But it won't be long.
A few times. Yeah, Todd said humidity is 25 right now.
We're 25%. Yeah. We're hovering, and I'm not joking, probably 85% right now. At 97 degrees, as it says, is what it feels like. But
I
it's
feel like we start out with the heat and humidity on every chat. This is our first topic.
Well, I mean, that's how you get conversation going.
Comparing how hot it is.
Oh, it's hotter out here. No, it's hotter here. It's hot anywhere you go.
Oh, no, 15%, not 25. You're making me green, Todd.
Yes. But now who all been moseyed off in here so far?
Couple people.
Yeah, DC, talking about the old El Nino or the other L there. Which one we just come out of? El Nino, we're going into La Nina. One of them two ladies has changed the weather. And I think that's what's kind of kept our mornings a bit cooler besides the outrageous heat. Oh, this is only down 21%. Well, we can't talk to y'all anymore out there on the West Coast. 15 to 25% humidity.
Yeah.
Talk to Deb at Sunbunny. She knows what it's feeling like down here. Who else? Ed, he definitely knows. What else you southern?
Y'all don't get humid out there, do you? I know it gets hot in Indiana, but I didn't think y'all suffered with the humidity. Yeah, Keith knows what we're talking about. 87%.
Yes, yes. I don't know if it's 47 for her, for Sarah.
Deb said I'm melting.
Yeah. Yes, we just said. We're going still here and holler at folks right fast. Let me do that again, just in case. Bingo.
We did have a new member, though.
Yep, I got it saved in the start thing. Right there. Yep. DC, you didn't claim first, but we've seen you first in there earlier talking about it's just hot. But it's good to see you, brother Ty. Good to see you, Sarah, there at Happy Hives. Mr. Dan Weaver. And I got to do some blame shifting in a minute. Because it's not technically Mr. Dan Weaver's fault, but he led me down this rabbit trail, we'll just say.
That's very easy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was just reading Mr. Dan Weaver's comment from back there a second ago. He said, I was watching last Sunday night, but we were in Gettysburg. Couldn't sign in the chat. Let me just say that real quick and I'll move you on there, buddy. I don't have any beekeeping news this week. First of all, yes, whenever we get home, Hannah can tell you, come home, get cleaned up, and I ain't in that chair 15 minutes. 5:30, 6 o'clock, I'm out. She's waking me up at night talking about
time to go to bed.
Yep, time to go to bed. So, but that's one of the half of the reasons I ain't got beekeeping news this week. And the other half is Mr. Dan Weaver, you done got me stuck on old Matt Atkinson up there. That's the park ranger at Gettysburg. Who's the guy channel I've been watching? Stuff Writer. That's the dude that does a lot of film about park ranger. But man, I've been watching all kinds of videos of that park ranger going through Gettysburg and, giving the whole history of who was where and what was going on and this and that with the generals there. And I have gotten quite lost in that channel. So I do apologize for no beekeeping news. Y'all blame Mr. Dan Weaver for that. What?
He's good at that blame shit.
I don't want to blame myself. Nobody wants to blame themselves.
No, why would we do that?
So where was that? Mr. Dan Weaver. Blaming him. Moving on. All right. Ed, son of one, Stone River, good to see y'all. Richard, good to see you there, bro. Deb, the Sun Bunny. B Disaster. Keith Spillman. Russell Lane.
The Miss Leona and Miss Jane and Pastor Lady.
So we got Todd out there in California.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Tangway. Good to see you, bro.
Tom and Steve.
Good to see y'all. Good to see you. And Philip, that Texican. Got your Jasper riding along with you. We seen there.
Yeah.
Catherine, good to see you. Matt.
I'm trying to stay called up.
I'll let you push the buttons real quick. But we do want to say thank you. Let me get up here and push that button here. To our newest member to come on board.
Oh, yeah.
Can't believe you bees, Mike. Thank you, brother, for jumping on board there. We surely appreciate you very, very much. And everybody else that's
no way,
joined in.
Man. Y'all made it on a video.
Did it?
So if you watch Stuff
Writer
on the day one for the 161st, Margaret and I are shown at 105 in the video, black and red, buffalo check jacket. Cool.
Well, I'm gonna go check it out, see if I can find y'all in there then.
Mm-hmm.
I'd really like to go watch that guy. Or, listen to him go through there and do all that. But I don't know. Maybe one day, Lord willing, we'll get up there and get to see it. Hannah's been up there. She was a youngin' when she went moseying through that way, but
I dug those pictures out not long ago too. But I want to go back as a big kid. where I can remember all of it.
Pastor Larry in interview?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't think I will forget this portion, but when we get closer to the prayer list part, remind me about Pastor Larry. I got your message last night, Pastor Larry. And once again, I was dead to the world. Feel free to text me anytime. That ain't no problem. But I did go back and check some things out this morning, and good message. But we'll go there in a minute.
I was late, and we've been gone so much. I had so many chores that it wasn't even fun. Oh, we will surely get in touch with y'all, Mr. Dan, if we can ever make it up that far. I hope we can, though. Like, that's one of my bucket listers, I guess. One day make enough money to take like a couple of months off and just do a road trip.
It'd be cool if we could go like during, I'm going to assume they do. If they don't, let me know, Mr. Dan. But if they do like the big reenactments like we enjoy going to down around here, that's when I'd really like to go watch something like that. Y'all can tell I'm a buff when it comes to the war between the states there. And enjoy the history on both ends of it. But
well, there's our newest member.
can't believe you do.
Mm-hmm.
If we missed you, thank you again, brother. Appreciate you jumping on board very much. Once again, I'm gonna be honest. I ain't wanted to beekeep. I went down there.
To, but it's just too hot when we get home.
Well, yeah, that's it. It's just been too wore out.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, ain't no other excuses besides too wore out. Then after listening to Pastor Larry's message a minute ago, I'm going, that's no excuse. You know, that's no excuse. But that's where I'm at right now. So y'all forgive us on that. But the bees are out flying. They're doing well. They seem to be happy as they can be. Say I did that.
No, but seriously, this coming weekend will be our first weekend off in 6 weeks or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm praying we get a day that we can keep these. We were supposed to be off this weekend, but we kept getting calls to come fix plumbing leaks at our church. And you can't say no. So we didn't get a weekend off this weekend. So
no, the 4th we intended on staying home and not doing much of nothing. Got a phone call for something.
The plumbing leak at the church.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, we spent the 4th of July up there.
Then we said, look, it's too much right now, too much aggravation. We're going to have to tear a bunch of stuff out to get to this one little bitty fitting. Y'all know how it is if you've been there. It's always an awkward spot with the blasted plumbing. So we said, we'll put it off. Well, one of the brothers from church said, look, I'll take care of it. I know y'all got to work. I'll do it. All right, good deal. Well, yesterday, being Saturday, we thought, okay, we finally got a Saturday, so we'll just kind of take and do for ourselves. And first thing Saturday morning, got a phone call. Hey, Bubba, I hate to bother you, but I can't get the plumbing leak. So we spent another 4 hours up there yesterday trying to get a little bitty piece of brass fitting out of a confined space. Got it out. but wasn't able to get the finished work done. So that's another day, another project. We still got water to 90% of church. So preachers all right with it. We are too. Till then, but
Yeah, I'm kind of almost with you on that, Steve. So I'd rather do night checks than plumbing.
I like that the truth.
Well, I don't know. I don't know why it's not showing.
But well, before we mosey into prayer list and what I'd like to talk about, if you read the description tonight, and just kind of feed off of y'all and what y'all's opinions are on both of these subjects. But we finally broke down, put a short out this morning. Then I had forgotten about having the piece about the trap out up at school and where it has ended up. But there's some questions on some of that stuff I'd like to ask some of y'all. If y'all can give y'all's honest opinion on pros, cons, yay or nay for it. Like to see what everybody's opinion is now. Before we done the trap out, I won't mention who we called until after we get done with the discussion because I don't want it to be like kind of like everybody's feeding off this one person's comment because everybody knows him and really likes his content and that kind of stuff, and I don't want it to be, well, he was right in this, and which in a lot of ways, yes, he was, but he said try and go for it either way, so we did. But he gave his honest opinion prior to us doing this trap out, and we'll see about it.
Don't feel bad, Philip. We're going to be in the same boat.
What happened?
He said if we don't have the honey contest soon, he won't have any honey to enter.
Oh, I'm glad y'all said that.
It made Joey.
I mean, most everybody done rolled in here that's going to be in here and hang out with us. We're going into July.
No, we're in July.
We're in July. All right. So I guess we need to start chirping about this because 2 months will be here before we know it. And if we intend on doing the unofficial, official honey tasting part 2, I guess maybe in the next couple of weeks, we kind of need to start letting y'all know.
The date for sure.
Yeah, so we can, some of y'all want to send entries in and have them for the second year of the unofficial, official honey tasting.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, please take note. Bribes are welcome, but they cannot guarantee you a win.
Mm-hmm.
So Blaine and Philip, I'd love to see another letter, brother.
Blaine's not.
Blaine ain't made it in yet. So anybody else?
That's awesome news, Mr. Dan. He said he sold all his early spring pool, but he held back 1 jar for the contest.
I got an idea of what that jar is, but I ain't gonna say nothing yet if I think it is what it is.
You're being way too cryptic for my mind to keep up.
Good. Because I don't want her to know.
Oh,
But
yeah.
if it's what you sent last year, or one of what you sent last year, then
You didn't give me black focus.
well,
Mm.
disregard. But yeah, I'm glad y'all mentioned that. And we will, y'all shoot us an email shoot us an email with, I mean, I know a lot of you, we already chit chat back and forth. Either, if you got our cell phone numbers, let us know if you're going to send one, then Hannah or I shoot you or the mailing address to send things. Or if you're new to it, last year what we done is everybody in the beekeeping community sent a little old jar of honey. Well, some of y'all sent some big jars of honey, and every bit of it's love. But for the competition, it ain't got. If you want to enter the competition, it ain't got to be, but just
don't
a
feel
little
like
bit.
you gotta send a quart jar or something. You don't even have to send a pint.
Just a little, I don't know, half pint, little old small jelly jar, where you can get a good amount of honey out of it for the most part for a tasting. But email us at gunlinebees@gmail. Tell us who you are on YouTube or as your beekeeping channel, and we'll go from there for things. But if we just get an email that says my name is Susie Jane from South Mississippi, then no, I'm not going to give you the address to send something. I don't know if you're some kind of, which you just never know with folks that watch and you don't know if they're. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. Put your beekeeping
And just
who
tell us
you
who
are.
you are, and we'll be okay.
And on the Book of Faces end, we notice that we've gotten several friend requests from a bunch of people on the Book of Faces.
Please.
And there was an incident at one of the local hospitals that was hacked, and undoubtedly my information is gone from the hospital. Hannah's information is gone from the hospital. We got some lovely letters.
They sent me like 8 different letters, and every letter just had more specific information that was stolen.
Mm-hmm. So if you send us one, give us a little bit. Let us research your name and see who you are, because usually that's what I do. I don't just hit accept just because somebody sent us a friend request. It's not nothing against anybody, nothing like that, but we just want to make sure that, once again, the Book of Faces ain't been hacked somehow, and you got somebody trying to get in another way as far as getting information and all that good stuff. So we just kind of sitting idle on some of that, because we have noticed a huge uptick in our scam calls, and the phone constantly saying spam detected, or spam phone call detected. So we're just kind of rooting around and seeing who is who, and if you're legit, we'll holler at you. So just don't feel like we're ignoring you if you send us a friend request or something like that.
Yeah, no, please don't. Because a lot of people, we don't even really, I mean, a lot of y'all we do, but a good bit of y'all, we don't know your name. And that's what the Book of Faces goes on. So if we can't put you together with a YouTube channel we know, then we're probably not going to accept it unless we can figure out who you are.
Mm-hmm. Which I do bounce back and forth between folks. I'll usually, for example, I'll call him up and say, hey, old so-and-so, and he'll tell me, yeah, them's good folks, or, well, I don't know, I've never heard of them. So a couple of folks, we bounce back and forth on that information. But, trying to think what else here. Oh, what I discovered with Templeton the other morning.
I thought you put that out there.
No, I did not post that video yet.
He said, hi, I'm Lee. I'm from Louisiana.
Thank you, brother. Thank you very much.
Keith is on top of it.
Look at that.
Dude. They try to get the browse in before everybody else.
Oh, King Spellman sent a
That's
text message.
hilarious.
Y'all heard that phone, Dean? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We won't read your message, Keith, but send her on.
Steve said, "Lee, send honey plus a donation to the dishwasher fund. That could alter your final spot."
I ain't gonna lie, I don't forgot about that plastic dishwasher, y'all. I don't smooth forgot about that thing. I have an obligation to feel. I forgot. That's on camera.
Yeah, y'all see me holding my breath for it, right?
Right. Let's say there. Ian, good to see you, bro.
Oh, Ed, that sucks. He said he had all his bank cards compromised and had to replace them.
I'm hoping we can get a fool rid of that mess. Which I don't have a debit card. I lost mine 5 years ago and have refused to get another one. So I don't have that worry. She's got everything I need for banking. So I ain't studying
I'm
the
just a
debit card.
wallet he can drag around because he doesn't want to order his own card.
I ain't got time for all that. Like I told the bank manager, look, I ain't doing all that crap. If you just can't give me something right here, then I ain't studying the rest of it. And he tried to argue with me. You got to do this, Tim. Nobody else can do this. And I said, well, we'll see you next time.
We went to the bank to discuss this because he didn't believe me when I told him, no, they won't let me order a card in your name. At the bank, okay? All he had to do was walk to the counter and put the order through. Did we do that? We walked out the door and got in the truck, and he fussed about it all the way home.
She's me. I don't understand why we're one. Okay, she's me now.
Yeah.
So just let her sign for it. I don't want to sign a piece of paper. Anyway, we'll get off of that.
Wait, what? Steve Amos, sometimes they prank though. One guy said he was calling me to get his cocaine back, and I played along.
So you didn't pay up, mister.
What?
You ain't getting nothing back. Do like them telemarketers over there. You send me a box of cash at so-and-so address and you'll get your stuff back.
Yeah.
Not till I get my money.
Well, Ricky's daughter got her puppy. So Philip said 2 things keep me up at night. Did Hannah get a dishwasher, and did Ricky's daughter get a puppy?
Yeah.
She got her puppy buttons.
So we're 1 for 1.
Open. Or open.
Yeah, that's 1 for 1.
Whatever.
She got the deal, and I haven't done my end of things yet. So 1
Hey,
for
I
1.
tell you what, Lee. You organize a union, and y'all can nail him in Slidell in September.
What y'all talking about, Willis?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're working on that. We look forward to seeing everybody that's going to be over there in Slidell, too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Moving on.
Oh, I could spend days with the
You
Beatles
needed
after.
to check with you.
Talking about that. I have aggravated people on the telephone to where they finally just hang up on me.
God. That's hilarious.
I'll tell y'all this short story real quick. Gal kept calling about my insurance, the warranty, the car warranty. She just, man, for weeks and weeks, she called about this stupid car warranty. And finally, we was headed to the hardware store, and I had about 30 minutes of riding time. So I took advantage of every single second of it I could. I drug this lady through the ringer bars, what vehicles we had, what we didn't have, and I laid it all out to old beat up Chevrolet and 4 pickup trucks that were rusting out the yard. And she told me I couldn't renew those warranties. And then finally I reeled her on in
I'll be back.
when I told her I had a Mercedes-Benz dump truck. And that baby would fly. And buddy, she was all over that. I can get you insurance for this or your warranty for this and that. Then I just kept telling her about parts and how good it run and how much dirt that thing would haul. Then eventually Hannah told me to hang up. But the lady, she ended up hanging up beforehand. So I'm with you, brother. You gonna call and aggravate me with some mess like that? I'm gonna hold your time up as well. See, Mr. Dan Weaver telling me he got BMWs too.
Yeah.
Mr. Dan Weaver said the last time they called about his corner warranty, I tell him I got a 99 BMW 320. Everybody got a story about the car warranty. Oh yeah.
Everybody's got a story about the car.
Yeah, a couple of them talking about the car warranty. I know, I forget which one it is. Is it? Y'all tell me because I forgot which one it was, but the 1 year that this car company did not make a vehicle and people were telling them that they got said vehicle of that year and this and that, and they'll go right along with it. They have no idea of, no, they did not make this type model in that year. I think the next one will be,
She said they want to insure 1941 half-tracks.
well, that's a bummer, brother. Can't get no insurance on you. You have tracks there? Or the warranty anyway. All right, my train to jump the tracks.
Derailed.
Where we at?
You didn't make it 30 minutes.
Oh, we already 38 minutes. I didn't realize I've been getting that long. Okay.
We do this every week.
I just get lost talking to my friends about things.
Oh, no way, Lee. That is awesome. He thinks he's got Miss Renee talked into going to slide out. Yes, I don't want to be the only female at the table. I really don't.
Well, there'll be other ladies there for what you call.
Like when we go out to eat. Is
Yeah,
Ricky
should be.
coming?
I don't know if Ricky's coming. I know Mr. Bob Benny said he was coming. We're going to try our best. If things work out, maybe eat some dinner or supper with them. I don't know. I don't know if Mr. Ed's bringing Miss Mona or not.
That's what I'm trying to. Okay, Tom and Melissa will be there. Okay.
There you go.
As long as there's one other wife of somebody coming, I'll be good.
Oh, them women be coming. They'll be there.
DC said, well, you know you do yak good.
Who?
You? No, you.
Oh.
You just said I've been yakking for 38 minutes.
Thank you, DC. Appreciate the compliment here, buddy. Or
My
you're giving me,
extended warranty is for BG and J. I don't know
I don't know,
Larimore said that.
if I had to spell that out for me.
Yeah. We need the dummy version, Larimore. I don't know what that means. Oh, awesome. Okay, Russell's wife is coming. This is making me feel better.
Yeah, there's going to be a woman there.
Yes.
I'm not going to say what I usually say, and I might get some of them fired up. But I can vote me. So that'll be.
Yeah, you better just keep that to yourself.
Ooh,
Benjamin, Grant, and Jax.
there we go. All right.
Mm. Okay.
Okay, let me get back on track. Get serious for a moment.
Do you have a church?
No.
Thanks.
Before we get to the prayer list,
Oh no, seriously, Todd. He said I just got a call on the house phone from a car warranty company.
you still got old rotary? Sending text messages on that rotary phone?
Yeah.
Okay. On a serious note a minute. Pardon me. Going back to Pastor Larry. If y'all have a minute, go check out his message on the Book of Faces. It's about bringing in the harvest. And he used beekeeping and honey as an analogy, I guess you could say. Is that the word I'm looking for? All right. And it was talking about, or he was discussing about being part of the harvest, but our prayers, and this is why I wanted to say this before we do the prayer list, that we all do need to pray for one another and to lift each other up during the times and the needs. And our prayers are being heard. And the things that I know Pastor Larry had a different message, but where I took into like our Sunday fellowship here, is that our prayers are heard by God. We know this, and we know that things will be done according to His will. But it is up to us as individuals to pray, and we are the laborers. It is our job as laborers to be in prayer for folks, to reach out to the harvest, to help bring the ones to Christ and things like that. I don't want to butcher anything the man said by any means, but if you hadn't checked out Pastor Larry, check him out, Larry Hancock, there on Facebook, and take a few minutes and listen to his message today, especially with him. Many of us can relate on the beekeeping end, the way he referenced beekeeping in Scripture and the honey harvest as bringing in the harvest. So, once again, Pastor Larry, great message. Thank you for sharing, and I hope everybody gets a blessing out of it just the same as we did, sitting here listening to it earlier and all.
I was trying to tell Lee. He said he watches them on YouTube. I'm pretty sure it's the same, like the same stream, but they put it on the Book of Faces and YouTube, right?
I'm not sure. We always just watch Pastor Larry on the Book of Faces Sunday morning.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so Pastor Larry, y'all please correct me if I was wrong on that one. Is that the same stream that y'all put on social media and YouTube? I think Larimore said he enjoys listening to it too.
yes, sir, it's a blessing to listen to it, because oftentimes we'll catch Pastor Larry before we go to Sunday school,
Mm-hmm.
because we're up before the chicken crows anyway, majority of the time. So we'll catch Pastor Larry, and that'll prime us up usually for Sunday school and the church hour. But this morning's was they're all good, but this one was definitely something we all can relate to. And we'll kind of go back to last week where we had mentioned the folks and prayers. Let's get.
Did you make a picture of you?
No, I didn't because I have not.
Well,
I
Mr.
didn't.
Dan just said that it's okay to share the family knows we're going to hold it.
Okay,
So
well,
we can show you.
I will do my best to upload that picture to the StreamYard. So next weekend, the Lord wills, we can show the picture of little baby Luca there being home after his struggles with uh, trying to find a heart and the process of getting that little fella back on home. So, or back home. But we
Okay.
absolutely.
It is on. It's on their church YouTube page.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Slow down, Buttons.
I don't know why I just did that. But yes, sir, there you go.
Thanks, Lee. He just put the video link up.
Thanks, sir. You want to go through the prayer list, then we'll open up the chat about trap outs and cutouts. I got pros and cons for trap outs and pros and cons of cutouts.
And we're hoping for some professional tips for these.
Yeah. Feel free to hit the link. You ain't got to, but if nothing else.
Yeah, Lord, he finally cornered me. Made me do it. You had a trim.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, eliminate. We do still heavily depend on the peppermint oil mixture. Okay. Got Mr. Mark Miller, Ed and Miss Chris, and Ed's dad. He said in the chat earlier, things are going kind of rough for his dad. The Dirt Rooster's dad, Mr. Pat, Miss Deb, Grammy Lisa. There's her son, 2 granddaughters, and an unspoken request. Bob and his family, Tom's wife and mother-in-law, Bob's friend Jason Cooper, Mr. Donnie, Mike Tangway's wife, Miss Cindy, and pretty much his whole family right now, y'all. Miss Carla Green, DC's parents. DC, how's your stepdad doing? Hopefully he's doing a lot better. Emma Hoskins, David's little granddaughter, baby Luca, and the family that lost their little one. Canada Brad, Deanna Wheeler, who is Philip's mentee's best friend, and her son Reed, and then his mentee Rachel Wilson, her sister Amanda, and her niece Riley and her family. Philip's mama, his cousin Lorinda, his friend BJ and his wife, and then the Jennifer Brown family, Bobby's Bees and his family, Minnesota Mike, his brother Dave, and his cousin Mark, Aaron Frederick, all the Gandys, the Cheryl Faulkner family, Keith Larimore, Hillbilly Earl, the Paris family, Icy Mountain Honey, Sandy's young family member, the Montalbano family, Boonsong, who is Bruce with his Bee's granddaughter, Steve Amos's brother, Danae's grandmother, Spanky, the Hethley Hives, Israel, and all the storm victims, Jags Farms' wife, Sean Valterse's wife, Mr. Ron, who is the landowner of one of Blaine's bee yards, PJ Hanley. I haven't seen him or Danae tonight. Stacker Mike, the families of the 4 PD officers killed in Charlotte, Shabu, a local teenager PJ added, Acorn Stash, his family, he lost his dad last month, Ricky Rourke, 29 Homestead, mine and Tim's families, Bob Walker's son, who was in the car wreck, and the dude with the channel Peaceful Mind.
That's everybody.
Mhm.
All right, DC said things appear to be going well. The numbers are looking good, but low iron levels for treatment. And Lisa wants to know, we will add a friend of hers, Lynn, to the prayer list, please. God knows the needs.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am, indeed. And if y'all watch Pastor Larry's message, this right here is the very thing that he's discussing of us being believers, being the laborers, bringing in the harvest, or help bringing in the harvest and things. Grammy says she's a fellow beekeeper as well.
I got her written down.
I
That's it.
think about everybody. Had some of y'all jump the gun on me
What?
with the pros and cons of
Oh.
trap outs, to trap out or to not trap out. That's what I was going to say. I forgot how to put it that way. To trap out or to not trap out. All right. Y'all heard us chirping, and we did a video a few months back. All right. We got a phone call from one of the local schools. Bees in a tree. We went up there and looked at it. Told them, said there's only one or two ways to remedy this situation. It's either to do a trap out or we cut the tree and get the bees out. Well, before I knew it, ladies and gentlemen, do not make this mistake. This is a mistake. But before I knew it, I didn't let it roll off my tongue of, well, if we're going to do a trap out, we can do that for free. Okay, there's my very first big no, and I will not do again. The only reason I had went down that road on free on the trap out was we knew for the next 6-7 weekends straight that we will be going past there every weekend. Literally. Right past it, a mile or two down the road is her grandma's house. So instead of
They are, Lisa. She said trap outs seem very time consuming.
well, all right, here's what I figured out from them. The pro, I have not found one yet. The con, if you make something out of wire, you had better put some gloves on it. Because if not, by the time you get done cutting wire, trying to make a funnel, put all that stuff together, make it stay together, your hands look like you have been in boxing with a raccoon. Because, I mean, My hands were busted up from one end to the other. It was worse than working on a vehicle kind of stuff. And wrench is slipping. But I got it put together. Took it up there. We done the whole, nailed everything off real good. Make sure there wasn't no nook and crannies that we thought they could get through. But undoubtedly, through time, they found them about 3 or 4 little bitty spaces in that wire that just wasn't quite over far enough to where they could go in and out as they please. So, and I know some of y'all have answered, and I know there's different opinions. That's why I'm kind of looking on some things. But really, to y'all, is it worth taking the time and doing a trap out?
Mr. Dan said he uses plastic screen door material, but it hasn't worked for him at all.
Okay. And Russell Koopman said down here, or was it Russell Amon? One of the Russells made a comment in the video that down here it'll be worth it in a way if it's going to work, because we have so much time where we can feed the bees and get them back going and things like that if the trap out works. But in the North Country, it's really not worth the time, especially with Italians.
Yeah. Mr. Mike Conley said the pro to trap out is if you have a bunch of free time and nothing else to do, but it ranks up there with watching paint dry.
Yes.
Jerry said I loaned my wire funnel out and I never got it back. Steve said, is it possible to drill a hole and get some honey rustler or something like that to drive them out?
Well,
that's interesting.
Well, okay, all right. I had asked that very question to the gentleman we called and was picking his brain whenever it came to this trap out. Because I asked him.
Did you take Joe's?
No, I don't have Joey's funnel. It's one of them. I'll bring it right back to you. Give me 15 minutes. I'll bring it back, and you never see it again.
Yeah.
But I called the gentleman, and I'll give his name away here in a few minutes. Most of y'all probably know who I'm yakking about. Oh, yeah, you can do that.
I got permission.
Smoke them out. Use some kind of bee get them out. Whatever it may be, whatever your favorite brand is. Or see if they'll eventually mosey out on their own. Okay, well, it was suggested. He said this is just some things that he's run into throughout the years, and that's why he really don't mess with them much at all as far as trap outs. But he said if you smoke them too much, then you're going to end up with, I guess, that smoke will put off so much moisture in there, and eventually if you just hit them and they can't really get out, then you have a bunch of soggy bees because you got smoke combined with a little bit of humidity and heat and moisture down here. You probably know, yes, sir, Joey. You probably know.
Don't bust his bubble, Joey.
You got to keep it a secret a minute. And using the honeybee, anything, whether it's Bee Gone, Rustler, whatever you like to use, that he really didn't have too much good work on it, because he said oftentimes you may get the worker bees to come out more versus the nurses. So the way he was explaining it to me, that the nurse bees will pretty well try to hang on until the last very second that they have to go and get out. Your workers, you'll probably push out a little bit quicker, but then you got to think about, okay, and our weather that we have to where it's 80, 90, 100 degrees all the time, or 70% of the year, that you're still going to have brood hatch. And there's a chance that you could have some worker bees find a way to get in or get out, and they'll be able to take and get in there and still tend to that colony over a certain amount of time. So he said, it's up to you, the ball's in your court to try it, but I'll just be honest with you, I don't fool with them anymore, and I really don't think I would invest the time in it. Now, we did it just to try to see, okay, if we can get them to push out through the trap out, which they didn't. And the one real humdinger that got me was about 3 days before we had put that trap out up there, there was a big swarm that had come out of that colony. Well, we couldn't see anything, but we knew if that colony is swarmed, then there's a real good chance they got their queen cells in there. So a queen is going to hatch. And so what our hopes were was, if the little virgin queen makes it out somehow or another, then hopefully she won't be able to find her way back in, and everybody will just mosey on over to the little nuke box we got hanging literally right beside the entrance there. Well, we drug things on for a couple of weeks and didn't get by there to check on it. So whenever we come back by, there's plenty enough time for a queen to hatch, go out on a mate flight, get on back home, and kind of get settled in on starting to lay some eggs. Well, undoubtedly, by the time we got back, she had made it from her mating flight, started laying eggs, because y'all seen that video that I put out this morning, that there is plenty of bees in that colony still. So she got her tail back in there somehow or another. I don't know. She didn't go into the little nuke box, that's obvious. So we just kind of threw our hands up in the air on, look, the thing's been hanging up here for 6-7 weeks. It's obvious because we can see him traveling in and out of this one little area. And like I say, it was just, I think it was 2, maybe 3 little old strands that didn't quite get crossed over enough where I tried doubling up that wire. And they could just squeeze their little butts through there just enough to get back in and out. So ended up calling the gentleman at the school and said, look, it ain't working. So this weekend, this is whenever I started to him a few weeks back, but I told him, I said, look, we're going to go up there and we're going to get our boxes and tear this trap out down. Now, being at the school, the only thing we did leave as far as us being there was the danger. Yeah. I didn't want any of that to fall back on us. Well, y'all could at least left the sign up and nobody got hurt or stung. So, on that, I don't think that I'd want to fool with a trap out again.
DC said, I think it's difficult to do a trap out on a tree. It definitely proved correct for us in this case.
I mean, thankfully, that old tree, it was a fair-sized tree, so what we had made pretty well fit the contours of the tree. And granted, we stapled every little mess out of it with that slap stapler and made sure things held down. But they just found those few little old spots where they could get their butts in and out. And they made them.
You must be a JP fan. Philip said life finds a way. And Lee said you must be a JP fan.
For the trap out?
I don't know, I guess so. Well, Matt, we're in the same boat. He said he has a colony in a tree in his backyard. He'd love to figure out how to get them in a box.
And the only other thing I can figure is they're going to have to do something before school starts back. I know that. They'll probably call us the day before school starts back
No,
to come
I
get
had
them.
it done yesterday.
Because we did give them a price on the removal. We know there's no way in the world anybody's going, which we didn't go low by any means, but we could pretty well figure we beat anybody's price around here and us still make some money getting them out. But the only other option they would have to go off maybe on the cheap end would be sending somebody out there with some spray and trying to unalive the whole colony.
But that'd break my heart.
That would be aggravating, especially if you're in the school system talking about save the bees, but y'all out there just massacring a colony whenever all you had to do is pay a few $100s and we could have them out for you.
JP is Jurassic Park. But Rodney said he makes a gasket out of steel wool to seal a trap out.
Okay.
Interesting. We should have known
No,
that. But they were
that's
getting
right.
around the wire, though, not just the comb.
Yeah. Because what I've done is, all right, it was a 1/4-inch rabbit wire is what we had. And I had just taken 2 pieces and laid them over to where it would be 1/8 inch roughly on the wire. And sewed all that mess together to keep it from coming apart. Then we made the comb and fitted that joker in there just right, we thought, and bingo. Now, the bees would drag out their dead to the very edge entrance, I guess, of the comb part, and they would just dump them out right there because they couldn't really push them out the exit that we had made for them. So,
Okay, well, Tom said do a force out. Drill upper and lower hole to the tree hive on the backside. Smoke and use bee gone or honey bandit in the smoker.
basically just choke them out of there. If you're going to use smoke or
Said it
bee gun.
takes 2 people, one smoking and one watching for the queen to grab her.
But and another note too, I guess, would be on if you can get a rough idea of how big that colony is, or how big of a crevice, or how much room they got in the center of that tree.
Mm-hmm.
I know that'd be a great deal. Colony size, how much room they got, did I drill, not high enough or too high, that kind of thing. But
Bob Walker came
when Bobby showed up,
in. Mm-hmm.
what'd you say there, Bob? But once again, I just don't think we're going to go down the road of trap outs anymore. Especially if it ain't just we're passing by, going to grandma's house or, right down the road from us, coming home every single day. I don't see ourselves going to the big city and doing one for the yuppie folks down there
Yeah.
and going to check on it every single week in the big city. It would just be, look, this is what it's going to cost to cut into this tree. And if this don't work, then
Hey, Ronnie said you can do a forced abscon with the smoke and the powder. DC's laughing. He says, I like how he says big city. Mr. Dane said these were just supposed to be in the tree trunks.
I agree. Yes, sir. So, the school system frowns on it, though. But I'd love to get them home. They're a gentle little bunch of bees. And like even going up there, tearing all that wire and jump down, they never try to jump on me or nothing.
Yeah. Now, illuminate, we did try that. We had the camera, the endoscope camera, but we couldn't fit it very far down in the tree.
No, because it was like, y'all know how the bees, this little endoscope has got a little bitty LED light on the end of that thing. And when we turn that little LED light on to try to shine up and see how much, how big the colony was.
Just it.
Yeah, the bees just covered the camera and the light, so you couldn't see anything besides backsides and little bitty legs running around on the camera the whole time. So it was like, well, if we can't even turn the light on, we can't see, period. Or if we turn it on, they're going to cover it up. So I don't know if it's just one of them. First experience, it was just a bad experience, and there's ways around it. That's why I was questioning, many of y'all, is it really worth taking and doing the time? But the number one thing I learned was do not say for free. No more.
Yeah, because he's not going to jump on, let's try the free option first.
Yeah, I know. I kicked myself in the butt on the way home. I told her,
never again.
I won't do that.
We learned our lesson.
And a lot of it boiled down to the reason I said for free, like say, going to grandma's. And we knew the coach over the school.
Cajun Brad says, since it's the 4th, you should have gotten some firecrackers and let them.
Oh, boom. Huh?
Oh, man. Yeah.
I ain't going to say it because I'll probably forget how he did it, but y'all watched old Joe Dirt in the firecracker park, then.
Joe Dierte.
Joe Dierte. And whenever he's selling fireworks, then y'all know what I'm talking about. The Whistling Dixies, the spinner, this is whatever that was, and so on and so forth. But, all right, so.
Why would you mention free to a school official?
Exactly. And I kicked myself in the butt to doing it once again. It won't happen again. I promise you that.
Would have been like the cops clearing out a crack. Oh, my word.
A Cajun.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. So we pretty well kind of, some of you go for it and do, but it seems like the majority of folks are saying,
overwhelming majority are saying it's not worth it.
No. So I think I pretty well know where I stand on the trap out parts.
We messed up.
We did.
Big time.
So
learning experience, y'all.
It was. And I'm willing to share that with y'all just in case anybody else.
Maybe it'll keep somebody else from wasting their time like we did.
If you can do it, do it. Heck yeah. If it works for you, holler at me, give me the trick.
He said, we're just lazy and don't want to work the hours. Rodney said it'll take 6 months to get your money out of any government entity.
Yes.
Probably.
There's another rabbit. I'll chase on that whenever we got more time. But as far as the school system blowing unnecessary dollars, but we won't. I won't get into that.
Whole nother, I need a pot of coffee to get through that conversation, and I'm trying really hard not to get up and go make another cup.
Because the fellow we're working for, he works for the school system, and we discuss about, and we don't even have kids, but we have to pay a school tax, and I know everybody else does too. But the things that he talks about, the Mobile County schools waste money on, I'm like, are you serious? Millions of dollars, and y'all can't afford to pay me just a few $100s to get some bees out of a tree? And y'all don't have to hire a tree trimming crew because you have your own? Give me a break. I'm done with that. Oh, all right, get off that rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
So now on to the cutout portions. The pros and cons of it. Now, I think we have a little bit more of a leg to stand on as far as cutouts. Because, all right, I'll give my mysterious person away, and Joey, you'll probably say, I knew it.
And he's been sitting there the whole time going, I know who it is.
But, we called and talked to Randy, the dirt rooster.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one that, said, you can do this or that, or you can just tell them, no, you ain't going to do it. But this is how and where and why I stand where I stand on trap outs. And got some good info from him. The man didn't lead us wrong by any way, but he definitely did not tell us to do it for free.
No.
Randy pushes that every time I talk to him about something.
No, but we called him. That was our biggest mistake. We called and asked for help after we agreed to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So, another lesson learned.
Now-
Figure out what you're doing and what it involves before you make a commitment to try to do it.
for free.
Yeah.
Don't do it for free, people.
But I don't know, DC. I kind of enjoy the cutouts. I really do.
Now, the cutouts, okay. Absolutely. You can make a little bit of money on them cutouts. Now, Randy kind of give me an idea where to start on, here's a beginning price. And you being in construction, you know what's going to be beyond that as far as taking everything apart, putting it all back together if that's what they want to do. But this is around about where I would start my pricing at and go from there. But I'm going to say the biggest thing with cutouts is, and I'm going to say this from a beekeeper's end and folks that's been in construction for many, many moons, as they say. But you know what pretty well how much effort is going to be into getting those bees, vacuuming, getting your comb, putting all that in, getting the hive out of wherever it is. But then we're just going to use a house, and they're in some soffit for the most part. No. Did he know?
He said if the price doesn't sound like too much, then it's not enough.
Well, that's another thing too. And I'll get on that in a second, but you kick yourself in the behind whenever you give somebody a price and they're like, oh, that's all? I thought it was going to be, and you go, I ain't believing it. If I'd have told you that price, then you'd been like, well, no, Mr. So-and-so down the road said he can do it for $100 cheaper. Well, then that just turns into getting Mr. So-and-so down the road to do it. But I'm just going to use, once again, bees are in soffit. Most of the residences around here, you've either got vinyl or you got plywood or you got some kind of hardy board that folks use.
I hate that
For
crap.
soffit.
I walk away from a job with that crap.
So all that's going to go into your cost of, okay, vinyl's for the most part pretty easy to get down, put back up. All right. If they have plywood soffit, they just say it's 3/8 what they got up there. For the most part, if everything works out, it falls on the seam and it's a small one, and you can just remove said plywood, get in there, work the bees, put it together. But then if you get into like some of that hardy, then most oftentimes trying to remove that hardy board, it's going to bust and crack on you. It don't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No.
Every time. Okay, Steve said I wouldn't do a cutout without a proposal and estimate that were very clear as to what you would do and would not do. The extra time would also help talk yourself out of doing stuff for free,
Mm-hmm.
which we apparently need to be reminded of over and over.
Well, staying on the beekeeping end for a second, you pretty well know that you're gonna have some kind of honeybee gone, whatever it may be, to potentially keep them from running back or running back behind some kind of dead wood or, whatever the case may be, keep them where you can't get to them. You're trying to keep them little girls as close to you as you can so you can vacuum everybody up. And in a perfect world, it goes nice and easy and you don't have to do a whole bunch of stuff. Or having to use smoke, which, unless you just absolutely had to use smoke, I wouldn't recommend it unless you had some kind of insurance to back you up, just in case, God forbid. But just by some chance, squirrels has been in there, you get a hot ember, comes out, it lays down, smolders in some kind of rat's or squirrel's nest, then 30 minutes, they're calling about, well, my house just burned down, got them bees out there. Well, I'm just saying, because people are crazy and they'll try to sue you for anything nowadays. That's where I'm trying to prevent.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Maybe not, unless you just absolutely have to use smoke. But I understand there's times where you got to, but be careful, is what I'm saying.
All right, this is kind of off topic
Okay.
on the cutouts, but eliminate that. How good does the peppermint oil actually work? Really good or kind of good?
Really good for us.
It was absolute game changer, like absolute game changer.
And that ain't no joke. We're not
No,
trying to.
seriously, go back to some of our earlier videos and watch the beetle infestations we dealt with.
I mean, literally, we couldn't go, but if we wouldn't use the peppermint, it was about every 3 to 4 days we would have to go out there get the Beetle Vac 5000 we built and use it to remove hive beetles. Because if we let them go, I'm telling you, if we let them go a week,
It was over.
yeah, that's it.
We were losing, colonies that had filled up 2 and 3 deep boxes. Literally, it was pathetic how quick we could lose a massive colony to beetles.
But yeah, Illuminate, ever since we moved over to the peppermint, using peppermint extract, candy still worked great, but we had to be in there a little bit more often with the candies. And we still give them the candies when we're in there, but the far superior thing at keeping them hive beetles out of our colonies has most definitely been that peppermint extract and adding that little bit of eucalyptus. Now, it'll probably work just as good alone with peppermint extract. We just added the eucalyptus in there from what the old timers told us about the
Wax
moths.
Okay, DC said that means a dated contracted job like Randy does. Randy doesn't walk into a job without his business in order.
That's it. Well, I mean, you got to treat that as a business to where, like, whoever was saying, have Steve Amos, to have a proposal drawn up.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what it is.
No, this is what we're expecting it to be.
Well,
we don't know what it is.
Well, and that's why we leave with our customers, and I make this very clear. Our new customers, they know this, and they just, I mean, our old customers, they're like, Tim, just whatever. I know you're going to do what we discussed, but any new customer that detail out what you said you're going to do, what you're not going to do, and the big one word estimate. This is simply an estimate. This is not the total cost of the job. Because if I have to go beyond anything else, then I will have to charge you for extras, whatever needs to be done. And once again, that's one of them things you learn the hard way in business of you try to help some folks, and it don't take long for a lot of people to take advantage of, well, can you do this real quick for me? It won't take for just a second. Or,
Look, Ronnie said, I charge for an assessment to do a site survey. That's when I do the FLIR imaging or endoscope to locate the bees. Then I do an estimate / proposal agreement, and I never use smoke on cutouts.
no, that's most definitely one man to listen to, because that man.
That's what DC
doesn't.
said. There you go. Rodney's a great beekeeper to ask all these questions of.
Mm-hmm. So.
But I never thought about it. I just feel like we live in such a small town. People would probably laugh us out of the water if we started talking about you got to pay us to come look at it.
Now I could. Well, let me say, around here close to the house, I would be more prone to be like, look, I can ride by and look at it, and okay, this is an idea on things, but if it's one of them, if you're calling from across the bay and you want me to drive an hour and a half over there to just come look to see where some bees are, then absolutely over the telephone. I'm going to tell you, look, as soon as I pull in the driveway, this is what the cost is going to be. Once you pay me, then we'll get out and do the assessment and go on from there, that kind of stuff. But if you're wanting me to drive any kind of distance to look at it, then no, you're going to have to pay for my time. I'm not trying to sound arrogant, anything like that. That's just business. I'm taking my time to drive an hour to come look at bees flying in and out of somewhere and to pinpoint to you where they are and where they're at, then all you got to do is call your local friend down the road and say, hey, look, that guy come by. And you just don't even get a hit off the job because they know where everything is.
Rodney just said, if you don't charge for a site survey, you'll run around and locate the bees for free. I learned my lesson. But it still amazes me how many people think that beekeepers just, I don't know, print money in their basement, because nobody, like no lay person, it never crosses their mind that a beekeeper will charge me to come cut these bees out of my house. That kind of thing.
Well, in a way, I'm guilty of that to a portion, because before we got bees and before we ever donned any kind of beekeeping PPE, pulled a frame of bees or anything, whenever the bees were at our church,
Mm-hmm.
in that trailer thing, all right, I remember laughing at one of the brothers at church. I wasn't laughing at him. I was laughing at what one of the commercial beekeepers around here. It's a big family, been keeping bees around here for a long time. But he told me, he said, you know, that fella told me it'd be about $450 to get them bees out of this camper deal here. And I laughed.
Understand that.
Yeah, I didn't understand it then, and that's the reason I laughed. I was like, $450 to get some bees out of, a little old space here? And he's like, that's what the guy told me. And I told him, I said, brother, I said, I'll come in there and get them for, $150. But that was long before
we had even stuck our toe in.
Yeah. Had no idea how much time and effort and work and boxes and equipment and, vacuums and all that stuff that you invest in putting into doing removals. Okay. We'll just use for example. If you got everything bee back, that's $450 by itself.
Mm-hmm.
That's not counting boxes, frames, rubber bands, suits. So you're well beyond $1,000 just showing up of your own doings. So I did humble myself on that end of, okay, I got you now. Especially whenever we done the attempted cutout up there in the old shooting house. That was a big lesson learned for us on, okay, this ain't nowhere near what these dudes make it look like on YouTube.
Yeah. No, Joey said they're thinking, look at all the freebies and honey you get.
Well, that's one thing I've noticed too. Like listening to a bunch of y'all that do these cutouts, and when you film them, you often hear the customers, can I get the honey out of it? And all, well, I mean, if you're paying me a low dollar price, then I'll do a 50-50 split with you. But if you're paying me, we'll say a good price for what another beekeeper would charge, then I'd be more prone to, okay, look, you paid me what it's worth, then yeah, absolutely, I'll hand the honey over to you, kind of thing. But if you want me to do it for nickels and dimes, then no.
Well, yeah, but too, I was kind of wondering about this too. Like if the quote unquote customer wants the honey, or let's say they tell you, you just come get them, and people like us go get them for free, and then they want the honey too. Like, do you charge to extract the honey and take it back to them? if they're not even paying you to get the bees out?
I imagine often a lot of times what I see folks do, like Randy, Mr. Ed, and ones like that, they'll cut out a section and just throw it in a bowl and tell them, say, look, crush it, strain it, you got you some honey. There it goes. But I just had this brilliant idea hit me.
Hmm.
I guess it's technically lying, so I wouldn't want to really push it, but let me just say this. You could say, all right, it's in the middle of July.
I could tell. He said you should always offer them some honey. That way you know if they spray them.
That's a good point. That's a good disclaimer there. Do as you wish on that one. But I see you, Philip. I just got to put that out there for the world.
I wouldn't have even thought of that, to tell you the truth.
That's what. Yeah, Linda. You want to try this here?
I don't doubt people as much as I thought I did, apparently. Yeah. Steve said that's genius. He said I got that from the rooster. Oh, man. Okay, see, that's what I was kind of wondering, Rod. He said I give it to them in their bowl and let them deal with it.
There you go.
Crush and strain is a messy, time-consuming process, but I bet it would make them respect what we have to do just a little bit.
Well, make it a little more for them. Say, look, you got to squeeze everything out. If you don't get all of that honey out of there, it ain't gonna be no good.
Mm-hmm.
You have got to get it all out. Got to push them to next time. Look, I ain't even gonna fool with that mess. I might squeeze some honeycomb, this and that. But where I was going with my telling the tales.
I was trying to keep it in line with him.
Well, you could.
It's a lie. Whatever you're fixing to say is a lie if you're hedging like that.
You could just put it to them like this. Say, look, it's July 4th weekend. The honey's not good right now. You know, I would wait till fall.
Who doesn't have Google to ask this stuff?
Well, a lot of people, they're going to take your word for it for the most part. A lot of people don't even know you can eat comb honey.
People will, but folks out here won't.
Well, then just tell them, look, there's a chance it ain't no good. So I think it's best if I just take it and dispose of it properly. That way nobody gets harmed. Dispose of it properly and carry on from there. No. That just leaves an avenue open. Okay. All right. The second portion of cutouts, not on the beekeeping list.
How was it cut out?
It's hard.
Oh.
This is easy. This is 1 + 1 = 3 kind of thing. All right. Moving on. The construction end of things. I'm going back up. Okay. You do the removal. You get the hive out. Everything's gone. But this is one thing that would just, if a customer called and said, hey, Tim, look, I had Joe from Joe's Beekeeping come by and they got a beehive out of my house. I need you to come back and put all this back together, because he said he'll take stuff down, get the bees out, but he's not going to put it back together. I had to find me a handyman, contractor, whatever, put it back together.
What's on that? You should find us for bees too.
Well, I'm just going off the cuff, but we're not beekeepers on this part of the store. I'm just going into construction line of don't go in there like a mad man or woman and just go to snatching and tearing and ripping and busting on things whenever you could have took your time for a few minutes. Basically, where I'm going with this is know your construction and how things are built, at least to a basic level. Okay, if it falls out on a seam, I want to try to put this back together or put it back to where it'll fall back on the seam like it was before. A few nails, nail gun, shoot it back up, or whether you hand drive it, whatever the case may be. Put everything back together without a whole bunch of destruction and costing the customer more money.
Unnecessary.
Yeah, unnecessarily, because you went in with a pry bar, a 22-ounce E-swing, and just started snatching aluminum fascia metal off. Well, whenever all you had to do is just take your little pry bar, give it a little tug, pop your little nails out, take that off in a whole piece, set it to the side away where it don't get stepped on. Pop a few staples off or nails, whatever they put the vinyl up with. Slide a few pieces of vinyl out, not bust them into pieces to get to it.
It's Sawzall.
Or a Sawzall. Because I would be the individual to look at that and go, what?
In the dirty word.
Yes. I'm trying to hold my tongue here, but what in the world just happened to all of this?
Mr. Dan said a 22-ounce E-swing is a great tool.
It is. I carry one every day, sir. Yes, sir. You can do some destruction with them now. That's for sure.
Give a snarl and say you want this, it's going to be real dirty.
Pardon me. But on that end, try to keep things as neat as you can. I understand, which many of y'all already know. Y'all been there, you're doing them cutouts, and you know what it takes to put a house together, make it look good, especially, your exterior regions. Then getting to interior, that'll be a whole nother subject in a day in itself, because you got a little bit more to worry about. You don't have nowhere near the hazards in soffit work as you would have, say, in walls. Whether you got a plywood sheathing on the outside covering the house, or you got a lap siding, or if you can't get into them, but from the inside in a wall, then you've got plumbing to worry about, you got electrical to worry about, you got cable lines to worry with, whatever computer fiber optic mess they run through your house nowadays to worry with. And if you run, who would have said the Sawzall?
Illuminate.
All right, illuminate. Talking about you get a tree limb blade and stick on that Sawzall. It won't take long to get yourself in a bind. You're gonna find water or electricity pretty quick. Just another bribery text.
Let's try not to make that.
Bell's ringing. Listen. Okay. Y'all stand by.
Oh, he sent a picture of one of his bee removal services proposals.
Oh, okay. All right. Appreciate you, Philip. We'll definitely take note off that. I'll run us through it later on.
Oh, that's a very important clause. RTX honeybees will not be responsible for any damages to the structure before, during, or after this removal.
That man said, I ain't responsible for nothing. I'll get
Not at
these
any
leaves out.
point in time am I responsible for anything.
So please sign here if you'd like me to do it, accepting my responsibility. Uh, but yeah, I guess we're kind of like on the fence for the most part. I'm gonna say on the cutout end from what you've been reading to me. So
This is like a show up. I ain't responsible for nothing, Jack. I'm gonna have to read that close later on.
I feel
One
like
of
I got to
my
throw it out.
facial reactions are not being filmed and live streamed. Mm.
You done messed it up. Now I can't read the
I
comments.
didn't mess it up. You can read the comments up there. Your eyes are better than mine. Sign all 20 pages. Oh, man. Like the multi-tool y'all are talking about. Did you say something about the oscillating song?
No, I didn't say anything about that.
I'm wondering if they were, if that's what they're talking about, crazy stuff.
What they saying, invest in one?
Um, I guess. Rodney was saying he uses it very carefully to cut out.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they do, Mr. Dan. Like, if you even look wrong in a nail head with one of those blades in, it's over with.
Yeah.
$20 down the drain.
Gone. Well, then just, yeah.
Oh.
Even on a trim nail,
Mm-hmm.
definitely try to run through a 6, 8, or 12 penny nail. One of them things. I mean,
Yeah.
you ain't gonna get nothing out of it. You
I-
probably won't cut sheetrock after that.
Yeah. I thought that's what it was, Rodney, but we just, in our little world, we call it the crazy saw. Because for forever, I couldn't remember the technical name for it. So,
Yeah.
kind of like, Hickory-Jig and Thingamabob and everything we was talking about last week.
I forget why we give that thing that name. Somebody's crazy about all the work it'll do or something. But
Just started calling it the crazy stuff.
that is a fine tool to have in your tool bag, though, if you are doing those cutouts, especially on some inside. Outside work is wonderful too, but
Yeah.
inside, mark it off real nice and pretty. Then just take that oscillate saw and
Even I can use that, but definitely simplifies projects a good bit.
if you're too worried about using one of them, what I suggest to do is say you're using, whether you're using a wood blade or bimetal blade on one of those things, but if you got a, I'll say the majority of homes on the walls are going to have half-inch sheetrock on them. Not all of them. Some people will put 5/8 up. We found that out not long ago, remodeling a bathroom. You're like, why? Why did y'all put 5/8 all in this house? But anyway, uh, but usually, if you know it's half-inch sheetrock, a simple way to do things, a good little tip trick, measure up a half-inch on that blade, make you a little mark, get you some of that painter's tape, put at the top of your mark. And whenever you see that painter's tape starting to go into that sheetrock a little bit, that tells you right then, all right, back out of it, carry on somewhere else. Then you can get in like a keyhole saw or something like that to prevent getting into wires and plumbing and such. But if you're going to do any of that, I suggest you also do like Philip just sent us, but I ain't responsible for nothing. Period. If it happens, it happens. Ain't happening.
He said, Illuminate said you can get the Chinese knockoff blades in 50 packs on Amazon.
What do you say there? Me again, Joey?
Joey?
How y'all doing?
We doing good, Captain. How about yourself?
All right.
We're melting down here.
I just wanted to mention one thing, and I'll go back in the chat. Talking about the bee trees, there was a guy that used to have a channel years ago. I don't know, for whatever reason, he took it down as a YouTube channel. And he had found a bee tree, and I watched the video because I wanted to see if the title of it was beelining. Have you ever watched anybody do beelining to find a bee nest somewhere?
Yes.
But he found this tree, and the entrance was about a foot or so off the ground. And he added a piece of pipe in that entrance, just about a foot long. Come back in a few days and put a bee box there and let them get used to that. And then he went back and put frames in it. And he ended up getting a box of honey out of that bee tree.
Wow.
I thought that was the brightest idea I'd ever seen. If I ever find a bee tree, I'm going to give it a try. I
No?
thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But he did it, and it worked. I don't know if it would ever happen again for somebody like me, but I'm thinking when he put that box there, I said, they ain't going to put no honey in that box, and they sure did.
That makes me think of an idea, which I don't know if somebody takes it and runs with it, so be it. But you talking like that, Joey, what if you took, say, a piece of PVC pipe and you put not want to say a baffle, but what's the word I'm looking for here? Where water can go in one way, but it can't come out the other. I'll think of it when the show's over with. But you can get them for like, say, like them shark bites you got for plumbing. All right, you can stick it on the incoming side. Check valve. There we go. Yeah. If you can make a piece of PVC and put a check valve of sorts on the inside or just on the edge of that rascal to where them bees could push through somehow or another. But now we've seen this, and this is where it may fall if you did something like that. But could those little old girls be smart enough to pull that check valve open and crawl right back in? Because we've seen them twist the lids on a mason jar.
Barely.
But they got it.
Real quick, Steve, don't we have that in there plywood under the sheetrock on exterior wall to help for the frame?
No, and the only thing, like most everything they do around here is,
That'll be exterior walls.
oh, your exterior. Yeah, you got a sheathing.
Yeah, Steve, I'm sorry. I wanted to make sure I wasn't gonna lie to you before I answered that out loud. But yes, we do have plywood on the exterior walls under the sheetrock.
Mhm. But that'll be on the exterior portion of the house. Most oftentimes, whether you got like your plywood sheathing to hold your brick ties up, or if you're doing vinyl, something along those lines, you just plywood on that end. But on the interior, most everything around here, besides one house that I know of, and that's the big landowner across the road over here. We have to go fix the plumbing leaks on his house. Now that gentleman does have plywood, half-inch plywood, and sheetrock on top of everything in his house.
Mhm.
But where I was going with that check valve thing, if you could get them little girls to steadily mosey on out, but they can't get back in, and you have that box right there as a catch point, if you will,
Mhm.
then if they'll start building up right in there until maybe perhaps that queen will come moseying out, about the chance or about the time that she come out, they could potentially be starting to draw out the box like Joey's talking about.
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean,
I don't know.
But that is a really interesting thing.
yeah, I never thought of doing that. Especially you get them dry that baby out for you. Bam, that's a winner in itself.
I'm sure it would have to be a pretty strong colony.
Yeah, but still, very interesting. Oh, it's not.
Well, one of the other things too we'll have to figure out is if the big word if we ever try to decide to do a trap out again is it would have to be a springtime deal. And do you know if they swarmed yet? Because I would want to try to take and catch all that commotion if there was a way,
Mhm.
I guess, to catch the queen coming out, whoever's going to leave with her, then perhaps if you could catch them and keep them right there, then build said trap out. But I am kind of interested. I have to figure out a little bit more what Rodney's talking about on using like the steel wool, where
Mhm.
he's
To
putting,
block the phone.
yeah.
Yeah, we should have thought
I mean, like I said, it was our first run at it.
that. Mhm.
It's worth a shot. Don't do it for free. Call and get advice from somebody that
Yeah.
knows what they're talking about for sure.
But preferably call somebody that knows what they're doing before you make a commitment.
That's the thing.
Probably what you could do with, if you want to do something like that, you'd have to make you a little bit bigger entrance in that box and put that cone, the wire funnel. I always make mine usually about 3 to 4 inches on the large end, down to about 2 fingers on the bottom end. I think it was JP the B man said make sure two drones can pass each other in that where they won't jam it up. But anyway, you could do that and just put that funnel up in that bigger hole in that honey box or whatever you want to call it. And the bees, it might work like an escape. They may be able to come out and go into that box, but can't figure out how to get back in.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Hmm.
Well, that's what they had figured out on what we had up there. Because when I went and took the thing down, I mean, they had obviously, they was figuring out to come out that way. But everybody going back in was landing on the side of the tree and walking in up to the little area that they had found in the wire to just squeeze their little behinds and wiggle a little bit and right on back in they went.
I remember it's probably been 8 or 9 years. Randy did a video on a trap out on a tree one time. And every time he went by there, he found another hole they were coming out. He'd staple another piece of wire on there.
Mhm.
Next time he come, the same thing. He was all over that tree.
Yeah.
The video is probably why he said, like he told me over the phone, that I don't do them anymore, Tim. I can tell you, here's what you can try to do, but I can't guarantee you it's going to work. But here's the reasons why, I don't fool with them much no more. But his main reasoning, talking to him, he said, it's just a constant, at least, at least once a week, you got to
Yeah.
go check on that thing. And he said, I just wasn't a real big fan of driving halfway across town just to ride by and look at bees flying in and out.
Yeah, and I guess the perfect scenario is going to take at least 6 weeks to get them all out. Time all you bees that are capped and emerge and then come out. You're looking at least 6 weeks to get them all out. Then you have to open it all back up and let that beehive that you established rob that one back out if the hive beetles don't take it over.
Well, like we tried explaining to the coach whenever we had first went up there and told him, okay, we can put this trap on there and see if it'll work. Said, but we're in the middle of spring right now, so you had just said in conversation that you had a swarm leave just a few days ago. All right, we'll say once again in a perfect world, they all come out. They go into a box right there that you got set up. All right. Well, who's to say whenever you take that box down, 2 weeks later, you don't have a scout bee moseying around and go right back to the very spot that you just got them girls out of, and you have a new colony moved in. If y'all don't want to take the time to, properly seal everything off, remove the comb, and do all that stuff. But
you'd have to fill it up with $200 of styrofoam.
you go to Lowe's and rent the attic blower for something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's just ready to steer clear of traffic.
Well, I'm with you now. I think it's just kind of a lesson learned.
You never know. I hadn't cared for it. Not as much as do with cutout.
No, cutouts. We'll do cutouts, that's for sure, because we pretty well got an idea of, okay, this is how things are built or so on and so forth, which, I mean, don't get me wrong. Even going in behind somebody that's built something, there have been times I've looked and went, yeah, how in the world is this thing even holding together? I mean, it looks good from the outside, but as soon as you go to exposing something, I mean, you got bent nails everywhere and boards hanging down and
Patio door that had 2 screws coming in.
yeah, literally.
You know
But
what somebody ought to do? I don't know. I might even do it. I don't know. Just get a hive, set it up, and create a trap out on that hive and kind of go into that hive on a weekly basis and see what's happening inside that hive and the box you set up in front of the trap out. Just to kind of document what would happen. That'd be kind of interesting.
It would be a neat little experiment.
it'd give folks an idea of, okay, this is,
What's happening?
yeah.
It would be cool. If we had time. Yeah, DC said do it with a display window. A practice trap out.
Yeah. That'd work. Make a good video.
I don't see why it wouldn't, Joe.
Well, you could do it in stages, like, week 1,
Here's your update.
yeah. And it,
Yeah.
like you
Day
saying,
1, week 1, week 2, yeah.
Mhm. There's your new video series, Joey.
There you go. It might take all summer, all spring to do it, but yeah.
Or be our luck. You do all this, you set everything up, you're thinking, I'm going to just trap out. We're going to make a good video. 6 months later, ain't nothing changed in there because they done figured something out.
Hey,
It's just, it's been working on my brain a little bit. And I told her as well, I said, I think that'll make for pretty good conversation to try and figure out, pick everybody's brain on pros and cons. And
We didn't want to wing it again tonight. We didn't do good doing that last week.
Lord knows. Last Sunday was about a crash and burn.
Mm.
somebody's gonna do that now and get a good video out of it, but it won't be me.
Probably so, Joe. You need to claim the rights to that idea while you're on live.
We're gonna patent that right here.
We'll do a poor man's patent with it.
Yeah.
Video documented.
Rodney said use a double stack note with a dial entrance like a hole in a tree.
Yeah.
And what you do is you use those pussy bees that you don't like fooling with, put them on the opposite end of the yard, and if you make it, you make it. If not, but this is going to be my video documentation.
Well, you have confirmation, Joey. DC has not seen something like that. And Lord knows that man has seen more YouTube videos than all of us put together.
We'll
So
have
if
to
you
do
haven't
it.
seen it, it's a pretty safe bet it ain't out there.
It would be interesting, though, to see
It really would.
what becomes of it and how the bees actually.
We're not going to
react to
steal
it.
your idea, Joey.
No, you ain't got to worry about this one doing it.
Oh, I'll do it. Go for it.
Yeah, in all our spare times.
Mhm.
We don't even have time to be real beekeepers.
I was thinking about just say doing something like that, like Joey's talking about, but we wasn't trapping nothing out. We was trying to, we go back to them horizontal hives and we was trying to give them ventilation year before last. But I didn't go out there with my thinking cap on. And I was taking that wire once again. It was that quarter inch rabbit wire, and done the same thing, staggered it where the bees can't come in and out, so on and so forth. But it didn't take me long to figure out I should go get a bell on. But a lot of y'all know what I'm talking about. I went to the truck, got my cutters, loaded up my slap stapler, went out there and measured everything to size, held my wires up there like I wanted to. Bam, bam, bam. About the third time, I done knocked on the side of the horizontal hive. Reality set in when bees were coming out. Yes.
I bet it was.
I don't recommend doing that because they do get a little fussy with you slamming on the side of the box. So if you decide to do what we're talking about here, please get us done or don your PPE for safety's sake. They get fussy. Yes.
Real quick.
Oh, it didn't take them long, trust me. About number 3 coming down, they was ready. They was beyond ready. Yep.
They don't even like a regular stapler, much less a slap stapler.
No. And I was trying to drive them staples home kind of thing. It wasn't just
Just knocking
You
the
know,
fire out of it.
tack it up here. I'm gonna push it through the other end. But
You-
I'm just telling the truth up here.
Oh, no. No, I was there.
But where we at? 210. We made it. We still got a good one. Yeah, we still got a good
Yeah,
crowd. Everybody
He
hanging out.
said he's done that too with the staplers.
So I'm not alone.
You're not alone. Everybody's starting to head out there.
Yeah, we fit the mosey on too. Well, Joey, brother, we appreciate you coming on in and putting that idea in folks' head.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
real. That
Maybe
was
somebody will do it.
Yeah, I look forward. Somebody let us know in the chat, whether whoever it is. So, hey, y'all remember Joey talking that night?
yeah.
I'm gonna do that. But well, we appreciate y'all. God bless you. Lord willing, we'll see y'all on the next one.
Yeah. Y'all have a good
Good
one.
night, everybody.
Y'all take care.
Night, Joey.